The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season shifts its way to upstate New York for the famous Salem 6 Hours at the Glen, where man and machine will be tested on one of the most picturesque racing backdrops, Watkins Glen International. This is the second race of the weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA, presented by Yokohama. Entering round 8 of the season, the number 79 team of Kelly, Moss, Road, and Race, along with their driver Roman DeAngelis, have been dominating the Platinum class, having won 6 of the first 7 races of the season. While in the Gold class, the number 27 NGT Motorsports, with driver Sebastian Carrazzo, has also shown domination in class, winning 5 of their first 7. Things won't get any easier for the field today. Both drivers will lead their classes to the green. Now for a closer look at Watkins Glen International, let's join John Hindhoff and Jeremy Shaw for the call.
Upstate New York, a great destination for tourists all year round, and a real motorhead's dream with the circuit here at 3.4 miles. Not just corner numbers here, but names too. The heel and toe of the boot, the inner loop. Run down the hill to turn 1, of course, is what greets all the drivers as they head off the line. It's a downhill braking area and a sharp right-hander. Plenty of runoff on the exit. Then the climbing S's has been the scene of much action down through the years here at Watkins Glen. Yesterday in bright sunshine, Roman DeAngelis from pole position was rather jumped at the first corner as the number 7 of Maxwell Root went round the outside and pulled off an audacious manoeuvre to get the lead, but it was short-lived. Halfway around lap 1, Riley Dickinson in the 53, little hip check, takes the leader out. Victor Gomez in a podium position to put a puncture in the 25 pink car, ruined his race. Root recovering with the number 11 of Sean McAllister, 3rd position, and he gets another push off the track at turn 7. A penalty for McAllister coming from that. In the gold class, no one had anything for the overall winner, or the eventual winner, Sebastian Carrazzo. He claimed victory, and the platinum and overall dominated by DeAngelis, the 79 car coming through. Jeremy Shaw is alongside me. That was hot and heavy yesterday, Jeremy. It's going to be a bit damper today, but I've got to say, we both thought it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. I thought it was very, very impressive indeed, the way that Roman DeAngelis took his opportunity, perhaps a little conservative going into the first corner that allowed Maxwell Root to go around him, but frankly, once he got that opportunity, he wasn't throwing that away. A free pass, and he made the absolute best of it. As our Aussies would say, that was a complete free kick, and he stuck it right through the middle of the plate.
Yes, he absolutely did, but there's no doubt he shouldn't have given up the lead at the first corner. He got a little bit lucky with that incident over at the inner loop, but yeah, as you say, he came back from that and went on to win the race very, very comfortably. He now has, remarkably, after 7 races out of 16, a 49-point lead in the championship over Jeff Kingsley in 2nd place.
Lights are out on the Porsche Turbo safety car, and let's hope that we don't see that car back on the circuit, and we have a good, clean 45 minutes as we kick off the Saturday of the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen meeting with flat 6 heaven. The Porsche engines have been part of endurance racing for so long. It's very close on the front row, and there's a touch between Maxwell Root and Roman DeAngelis. Well, saw that at Brno a couple of weeks ago in the 12-hour race there. An extraordinary thing. That's how tight it is at the front, and just how much these 2 young chargers, Jeremy Shaw, want that first position down into turn 1. This could be interesting.
I'm here.
Yes, just letting you know. And the pole man is on the slightly wetter side of the track. He'll want to move over to the middle, and Max Root doesn't want to give that up. They are just drifting towards the middle. We go green now, and a good jump again from the pole sitter. Immediately Root drops in behind in the multicoloured car, behind that white and green striped car as they head down towards the first corner. And this time, not like yesterday, Roman DeAngelis holds on to that pole position at least through the first corner, and Root has had to drop in behind Victor Gomez in third position.
A defensive line down there into turn one by Roman De Angelis, kept to the inside line, and but Maxwell Root elected not to try around the outside line. The rain stopped about an hour ago. It was only about an hour's worth of rain, but the track was certainly very, very wet. But now it's almost completely dry, but not quite. You can't afford to stray too far offline. I'm sure Maxwell Root was cognizant of that fact as he went around turn one. But look around the outside of here. Oh. That's a great effort by car number 11. That is that's Sean McAllister making a move there, or trying to make a move on Victor Gomez.
Victor Gomez pulled the car back to the inside through the carousel, holds on down through the short chute. Sean McAllister with a wrist slap yesterday for a little tap on the car that's now in second place as it was fighting its way back through the field at the corner that they're going through now at turn number 7. The far side of the circuit on the Grand Prix loop. Got to drive through for that, so he'll be aware that his driving will be being watched. Battle for the lead there into turn 8. Still feeling for grip. They've had a couple of slow formation laps, Jeremy, but really still very much a discovery situation for these guys on the slick Yokohama tyres. Nobody went for groove tyres, and I think that was the right choice, because I'm not sure groove tyres would have lasted. It's just not that wet, but it is going to make the first few laps very interesting.
Well, it is, and from Maxwell Root's perspective, I think he really needed to be aggressive on the first lap. He saw how conservative Roman De Angelis was yesterday. I think he probably needed to try and push the envelope, because we know how fast De Angelis is in the dry.
So IMSA Radio and TV together at the beautiful Watkins Glen circuit, down the inside into turn 1. Another one of the front runners from yesterday, Jeff Kingsley, with not so good of a qualifier. Second fastest lap, or your fastest lap in the race yesterday, sets the grid for race 2. And Jeff, who was one of the front runners yesterday, getting enough points to push him to second in the championship, having to fight his way through the middle of the top 10. Battle for third and fourth, coming to the inner loop. The battle for first and second, leaving it. The homage to the Pink Pig, not quite the Pink Pig shade, but Victor Gomez holding on to third position. Had a great run going yesterday, desperately disappointed that a puncture took him out of contention. McAllister with the drive-through taking him out of contention. So in some ways, two drivers, both who will feel that today's race can owe them something. No doubt about either of these guys as far as pace was concerned yesterday. Very impressed with Sebastian Carrazzo yesterday, Jeremy. He played the traffic well, didn't get too frustrated when he was among platinum cars, and he had his gold competitors catching him up, and made a clean move to put more competitors between himself and the chasing pack. Looks like Mark Varmey may have a problem. Pulled off to the right-hand side into the inner loop. Through goes Kurt Fazekas.
He's lost several positions on the last lap and clearly losing a lot of ground there, falling back through the field. Tell you what, that was a brilliant last lap by Roman De Angelis. He pulled out over a second and a half on Maxwell Root, who had been quickest on the previous lap, and that fastest lap of the race, a 1:51.528. That is less than a tenth of a second away from the new lap record that was set during yesterday's race by the number 7 car, Maxwell Root. But on this lap, though, Max Root is going quicker again. He's gone purple in the first 2 sectors, so he's trying to make up. I think he must have made a mistake on that previous lap. He's looking to make up for that now.
Scott Wellham with 13th position in his hands at the moment. Charlie Look is just a little further up the road. Yeah, definitely a problem for the number 9 car, which is dropping down. Mark Varmey has gone backwards in that blue and Etruscan orange car. Here comes Wellham, and he's got... Oh, Wellham's turned around by the 48. Unnecessary contact there as Brule came up the inside at turn 9, and he's done himself some damage on the right front of his number 48 car, the Kelly Moss Road and Race Machine. And he's done the radiator at the front. He'll have to pit. He'll have to pit, and he hasn't. That car's not going to make the lap. Kavame comes into the pits. Brule has broken the radiator on the right front. There's fluid coming out. I think he may have bent the steering as well. Down the inside, the number 92, the Goldcrest Motorsports Lombardo car, staying out of the way at the moment. And have we got a full course yellow? Yes, we have. We've got a full course yellow for, presumably for the debris at turn 9. And, well, that was all unwittingly caused by Mark Kavame, who was slowing. Scott Wellham getting caught up with Brule on the inside. All kinds of damage and debris from the front. Meantime, problems as well at the further up the field for number 11. Fourth place, Scott McAllister. In fact, dropped a position. He was in third, of course, and that allowed Victor Gomez to go through. He ran wide at turn 1. So was that just a puncture for Kavame? Ah, no, Kavame was on wet tyres. So Kavame gambled on wet Yokohama tyres, and the gamble didn't pay off. I have to say, I didn't think anybody had gone out on grooved Yokohama rubber. Kavame did, and it's cost him.
Yeah, can he get out of the pit lane exit before the leaders go past?
Well, that's a good point.
I think he might have done. He's got to get on the throttle here. I think he was okay. I don't think he ran the red light. Well, but he's got to nail it now to stay ahead of the race leader. If he can do that, he might be okay.
No.
I don't think it was red. It was very close. The light at the end of the pit lane flicked to red. From our perspective, it's difficult to see whether it was before or after. It certainly wasn't very clearly red. That's for absolute sure. So
well,
I think he will get the red run. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, that was a stroke of luck for Mark Kavame there. So he's going to be able to rejoin at the back of the field.
And this will be a relatively quick yellow, I would think. So Mark Kavame will be able to clear off. He knows where the work's being done. It's at turn 9. Try and get some heat in those brand new Yokohama slicks and join the back of the queue. The number 48, the Brule car, straight into the paddock, by the way. So missed the pit entrance, but came in to the alternative entrance to the paddock just after turn 1, with the right front radiator spewing essential liquid. Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, the next generation.
Pretty impressive that these Yokohamas only have dropped off a full second. That means it's a good tire.
This is just a magnificent drive.
Fantastic flat 6 noise, a staple of GT and endurance competition.
They can get maximum grip, speed, and durability out of the tires.
What a save that was!
There's so much fun and just so much action, and it's been amazing. So I simply cannot wait for the rest of the season.
It's going to be around about 28.5 minutes to go for the second race of the weekend, the Saturday race in the Sailing 6 Hours of the Glen meeting. This is a prestigious event, great history in American endurance racing, and Roman De Angelis hits the right pedal hard and heads for the green flag on the front straight. Maxwell Root can't stay with him. Then Victor Gomez. 28 minutes and 32 seconds as they cross the line. That wasn't a bad guess. No need to defend by the leader. De Angelis goes into the downhill right-hander at turn 1 with Root sitting about half a second behind him. Then De Angelis the same sort of distance back. Then the two JDX cars, the black and gold machines. McAllister, Kingsley, Mosing in that very, very distinctive car, and Dickinson, the 53 car, coming through. Now, he was the guy yesterday who nerfed off the leader halfway through the first lap at the inner loop, which is where the leaders are right now. That's the mainly white car, currently sitting in 7th position. It's the Moorespeed 53 car. He's just gone by Fred Podad in the purple People Eater. And Dickinson will be looking to make up for what was an inexperienced move. It was a low percentage lunge on a first lap. He'd had a really good start, actually, and if he just backed off a little bit, he probably would have easily had second. Might have actually been able to hold the lead.
Yeah, right. I mean, it does sort of really expect from somebody who doesn't have much experience, someone like a 17-year-old, which of course is exactly what Riley Dickinson is. He was just a bit of youthful exuberance. He got a bit of a telling off from David Moore last night, the team owner there, but he has been a lot more circumspect today. And he knows he understands this is a steep learning curve. He saw his glimpse of glory there to go for the lead, and he took it. Well, it didn't quite come off on that occasion, but I'm sure it will at some stage in a not too distant future.
And he's done, actually, Jeff Mosing a bit of a service there, because he's got in between the 68 yellow and maroon Porsche, the top racing car, and second in the Masters class, Fred Purdart, who's one further back in that 20, mostly purple and blue car. So that's given a bit of a backstop, if you will, to the Masters leader, who sits in a very healthy sixth position. Welcome back to the championship, Jeff Mosing, who had to step away from this championship a couple of seasons ago after an accident here, and he concentrated on one of the other IMSA championships. But great to have him back, and he came back with a bang in the more positive way in our Friday race here at Watkins Glen International. Good finish for Jeff Mosing yesterday. Carrazzo still leading the 27 car in just inside the top 10, but he's got Kurt Fazekas now right up his tailpipes and closing in. There's about a 6 or 7 cars length gap there, but Fazekas now has nothing other than road between him. Not quite right up his tailpipes at the moment, but at least he can see the back of that 27 car.
Yeah, and a brilliant restart lap there by Roman De Andres. It was a new lap record, a 1 minute 51.329 for the race leader Roman De Angelis. Max Root pretty much stayed with him. He only lost about a half a second, but the pace at the front is hot.
That's the Yokohama fastest lap of the race then, to our leader, the number 79 Kelly Moss Road and race driver Roman De Angelis. Carrazzo holding on to 10th position, and the first of the Gen 1 cars, the GT Gold category, GT3 Gold category, may have a challenge coming from Kurt Fazekas. 3.2 seconds the gap between those two. We'll keep an eye on that. What about the front of the field? It was a second as they crossed the line last time. Through goes the 79 car across the line now, and Root has closed it to 0.974 of a second, so barely any change there. And this now is the hard work that's going to have to come in from Maxwell Root for Wright Motorsports in that multicoloured shades of blue, red and white number 7 Porsche. He's got to go into qualifying mode now, because you give Roman De Angelis an inch and he'll take 15 seconds out of you. It'll just happen like that. You have him a second up the road, then it's 5 seconds, then it's 9 seconds, and then all of a sudden he's out of sight. So Root now must know that he's got to keep the pressure on and try and make a man who seemingly doesn't make mistakes at least think twice a couple of times. 24 minutes to go. Second race. Charlie Luck heading a group of cars that has in behind it Kurt Fazekas. So Charlie's gone through there ahead of Kurt Fazekas. Then David Baker in the 56, the rainbow car. And behind that, is that the Goldcrest Motorsports 92 car?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Who's made up a position on the last lap as well. So making his debut this weekend, Joseph Lombardo, and doing a really good job in this second race of the weekend. Meanwhile, Roman De Andres resets once again a new lap record, 151.112 last time around. Max Root quicker than yesterday, turned to 51.4, and he still lost 0.3 of a second.
And in the gold category, a new fastest lap there, a new Yokohama fastest lap for Sebastian Carrazzo, 153.979.
Oh, that's within 0.2 of his lap record set yesterday as well.
That's testament to the Yokohama tyres coming back up to temperature and pressure, and to this Watkins Glen 3.4 mile 11 corner circuit improving all the way through this race.
Change of position for fourth place now. The two JDX cars have exchanged position. Number 3 car of Jeff Kingsley ahead of Sean McAllister. Also just a little bit further back down, just a couple of positions, well, behind them in fact. Riley Dickinson has snuck past Jeff Mosing, who now is under pressure from Fred Porter. That, the battle between number 68 and 20 cars, is for the Masters lead.
Yeah, and Fred Porter tried very hard to throw his car at the barriers on the exit of turn 9 a moment or two ago, but somehow managed to hold it together. 7th and 8th, those guys, Mosing and Podard, separated by about 1.6 seconds at the moment. But Podard is a charger, and he'll try and put pressure on Jeff, no doubt about that. The leaders have no pressure other than what they're putting on themselves at the moment, and this is outstanding stuff by both of these young drivers. Roman De Angelis with 1.3 seconds on Maxwell Root, and these are two drivers who are looking to make a career in motorsport. The IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama is a lovely mix between people who do this for the fun and the love of it, and perhaps the Masters category, you could count that, guys who are a little bit further on in their respective careers, not necessarily in motorsport, and then the young chargers who are looking to pit themselves against a very difficult car to drive with... Oh, there's a rub there between Baker and the 52 car of Fazekas coming into turn number 8. Well, proof, if proof were needed, that you don't have to be a young charger. Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, the next generation.
Pretty impressive that these Yokohamas only have dropped off a full second. That means it's a good tire.
This is just a magnificent drive.
Fantastic flat 6 noise, a staple of GT and endurance competition.
They can get maximum grip, speed, and durability out of the tires.
What a save that was!
There's so much fun and just so much action, and it's been amazing. So I simply cannot wait for the rest of the season.
And talking about the Porsches, there's a new, announced yesterday, was a Sebring Porsche Festival at the end of the season. It's going to be part of the Encore event, and any Porsche drivers basically are going to be eligible. It'd be a great way, there could be 3 races during that event, a great way to get a head start on your 2020 program.
So as we move into the last 18 minutes, here's your Yokohama fast lap update in Gold Carrazzo, just a couple of ticks of the clock away from a new lap record of 1:53.9 in gold. He sits in 10th position, the 27 NGT Motorsport Porsche, and our leader Roman De Angelis has reset the lap record a couple of times today that he set in Friday's race here at Watkins Glen. 1:50.906, the new best ever mark in our Yokohama fast lap here at Watkins Glen. That's how it stands then, with just on 18 minutes to go. Got a cracking battle between Sean McAllister and Riley Dickinson for 5th position. Riley Dickinson, the red, white and blue most speed car, chasing the black and gold of JDX. Very distinctive colour schemes. These cars turned out absolutely beautifully. A few years ago, a Porsche race would have been a lot of white Porsches running around. Not so the case now. In fact, seeing the most speed car in relatively plain colours, but with the Most Speed M on the front of the fenders, that is their trademark. Actually, that's quite unusual now. The advent of vinyl and has allowed liveries to develop. Nice to see a relatively plain white Porsche, and battling at the moment for the 5th position with Sean McAllister. Jeff Mosing is just behind this battle in the yellow and maroon. That's the number 68 Mosing Motorcars top racing machine, and he's now a couple of seconds ahead of Fred Podard for Wright Motorsports. That's the battle for the Masters category. Mark Kavami, who had that incident early on and managed to get out. Now he started on wet weather tyres, didn't he? So he had to come in and change tyres, but managed to get out before the safety car came around. So still on the lead lap, And he has...
Well, he's moved his way from 24th at the restart up into 16th position. He made up another couple of positions last time around.
Yeah, very, very impressive indeed. Still 9th in Masters. And he's just gone by the ACI Motorsports Platinum car, the number 65 that sits in behind him. And that's Effin Castro. And that car's going to be a lot quicker down the straight. But I think now P1 Insurance supported blue and Etruscan orange Porsche of Mark Cavame has just broken away enough to make sure that Castro can't get back to him on the faster sections of the circuit. That's been a measured drive back from Mark Cavame, and he will be having tales of daring do, I'm sure, after this, picking his way through those 8 positions on the restart. But what he'll be thinking now, Jeremy, is why did we have a... Why did we put the wet weather tyres on? I paused there because that was a black flag and a car number being held out on the way up to turn 8. Now let's see if that is still out at the start.
Is that probably for 52, is it?
Is that for Fazekas not having come into the pit lane?
Probably.
But I'm pretty sure, Jeremy, I saw a black flag there with a number board being held out. A black flag means you must report to the pit lane straight away. Yes, it was the 52 car. And here comes the Kelly Moss Road and Race Machine jump start, which we're assuming was on the restart, and Fazekas pulling out of that battle. And that will make a big difference to his position. Already dropped outside the, well, onto the end of the top 20. He's going to lose that when the TPC racing car comes through.
Yeah, there was a 19-point margin between Sebastian Carrazzo and Kurt Fazekas in the Gold Cup points prior to this race. And certainly that's going to drop Kurt a long way down the order, down into probably the... Well, he'll probably only be rejoining 6, because he's a long way ahead of the 2 MCR cars that are having a really fun battle at the back of the field. That's Michael Manella in the car number 4 and number 22, which is actually a Gold Cup car of Bart Collins. There they are across the line now, those 2. It's been fun. So another purple sector time this time from Maxwell Route as Roman DeAndres completes lap 15. So in second place goes Max Route. Does he improve? He does improve, a 51.1 that time around for Max Route. So really hot pace at the front of the field, but another 50.9 for Roman DeAndres. That's a great pace that he's running at the best of field. Look, Roman's been around this the Porsche Cup Series now for, what, 3 years? First of all, the Gold Cup, and then more recently, the last 2 years in the Platinums. And he's always impressed me, but this is by far, from my perspective, the best drive he's done yet, because even yesterday's race, his lap times weren't particularly consistent while he was running out front. This time, though, he was under intense pressure early in the race for Maxwell Route, and he's turned a string of really, really fast laps, all of them within a couple of tenths of a second. Most of them within a few hundredths since that restart. It's been a great performance from Roman DeAndres. Max Route is now 3.5 seconds back in the second position, but still turning very, very good lap times.
And that's the point. I feel a little bit for Maxwell Route because he's done nothing wrong, Jeremy. And if it wasn't for the fact that Roman DeAngelis was at the front, we'd be raving about this young man. You know, he's 9 seconds away from the next car behind him, call it 10. But he's still not leading the motor race, and he will still be fuming about yesterday when he had a chance and took it, got in front of the seemingly invincible DeAngelis, then to get pushed off the circuit before he'd even had a chance really to enjoy being at the head of the field. 10th position for Carrazzo in the NGT Motorsports number 27. That's the one you won't lose in the paddock. Bright, almost highlighter yellow with the NGT signature orange stripe all over the top. He heads into turn 8 now, and if we're talking about dominating performances in the Platinum class, we've got to mention Sebastian Carrazzo in the gold category, Jeremy. He's he's done a De Angelis as far as this race weekend's concerned.
Yeah, he really has. It's been very impressive for Sebastian Carrazzo, 21-year-old from Puerto Rico, and he made his debut here last season. It was not auspicious. He crashed heavily in testing. The car was very badly damaged. As a result of it, he missed the first race because the car was away at a body repair shop being repaired. Got him back for the second race. I think he didn't finish that one. I think he spun off again in that one. So it was not a particularly strong debut for Carrazzo. He's come back this year. He had a good test here a few weeks ago, and it's been a really good performance by the youngster here.
Another couple of positions gained by Mark Kvarme, now up to 14th position, and that is a position gained in the Masters category as well. He's up now to 13th position in the Platinum class and 7th in the Masters with 11 minutes to go. What a drive back this has been for Mark Kvarme, starting with the wrong tyres. Up ahead, the gap between De Angelis and Root, just under 4 seconds. Now a bit of traffic coming up for this 5th place battle. The blue car is the MCR racing machine. That's the number 22 of Bart Collins, and he stays off to the right-hand side of the start-finish line. Nice driving, Bart. Kvarme starting to look a little bit squirrely at turn 8, coming into turn 9. And Vernon McClure for the TPC Racing number 36, white and red car. Maybe just seeing that blue and orange car moving around and thinks, oh, hello, has Mark worked his Yokohamas a bit hard since he came back out of the pits? He certainly used the grip to his best advantage, Mark Kvarme, in pulling up from 24th to 14th position, as Sebastian Carrazzo has just gone through in 9th position. He's gone past a couple of platinum cars. That was Alan Metney that he got by, the 99 car last time around, but Kvarme finding a bit of a rear guard action now at turn 1, runs wide over the orange and red curbs. And Metney had gone off. That's how Carrazzo gained his position onto the curbs, which will still be wet. Gets a half spin, clicks it down into first, and then recovers. And meantime, the battle for 5th position going either side of the number 4 of Michael Manella. And on and off has gone the number 18, the number 11, sorry.
Yeah, that was very strange. He just seemed to kind of lost it all on his own, it looked like, didn't he? Was that turn 6?
Well, that's the carousel,
5, isn't it?
Yeah, carousel.
Don't get away with that one.
They'd just gone either side of the Manella car, Michael Manella, MCR Racing, and I wonder if he just got off-light and damage to the right front. Oh, McAllister's weekend not going the way he would have wanted to, and I wonder if he just dirtied his tyres up as he went past Manella a few moments before he exited to driver's left, and that's a good result gone there for JDX Racing, and that's pushed Riley Dickinson up into 5th position. Jeff Mosing goes up into 6th, Fred Bodad 7th, Sebastian Carrazzo leading the GT3 Gold category in 8th position and well ahead of the chasing field, which now has got Evan Castro in 2nd place ahead of Rob Ferriol. That's the rest of the podium in gold at the moment. 7.5 minutes to go. De Angelis by 4 seconds from Root, who's hanging on really well, but just can't manage to gain a 10th. Another car getting a lap put on him is the number 69. That's the Dan Hardy TPC Racing car, running in the Porsche factory colours on that car. Very fetching it looks on a Cup car too. Maxwell Root flashing his headlights as he comes up towards Dan Hardy. Now, can Dan just sit in behind Roman De Angelis and learn something from the Masters lines? He can't, he's gone already. Goodness me, what a drive this is, what a weekend it's been. What a championship it's been already. And we are only in the end of the month of June. And Roman De Angelis could almost go on a couple of weeks' holiday and still hold the championship lead here.
True, you could certainly, I think after this result, he will be able to miss an entire weekend and still have the championship lead.
And that, you know, he won't do that, of course, but what that does do is if there is any problems and a DNF, we often see in these championships, they're so close, if you get a DNF, it's going to take you out of the championship. He's got a mechanical problem in hand in the championship, and it's not often you get to see that in the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup challenged by Yokohama. Cavani and McClure battling on. Vernon McClure still unable to get past Mark Cavani, and coming back to them is the number 92 car, Joseph Lombardo, the Goldcrest Motorsport machine, having a cracking weekend. And he's going to be loving this, because he's seeing the back of that number 36 car getting bigger. He's going, oh, I've got a position, I might have a position here, 5 minutes to go. Come on, Joseph, let's get on the back of that, have a bit of a scrap. Love these races. I love the ebb and flow of these races, Jeremy. As Mark Cavani started on the wrong tyres, got some Yokohama slicks, fought his way 10 places up through the field, but I think he's pushed those Yokohama slicks maybe just a little bit hard, and there would have been
Still
having to guess a bit.
Though. Up to 12th place, that's a remarkable drive by Mark Cavani.
But he's now unable to pull away from Vernon McClure, who he passed early on.
Yeah, but hats off to Vernon for just hanging with him. He's learning a lot here, Vernon. This is his first season in these cars. Mark's been around this championship for a couple of years. Vernon, not the case, so he's learning very quickly here and turning to good lap times as well.
And for the last 4 3/4 minutes, we have sunshine. Shadows underneath the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup cars by Yokohama. Watkins Glen has given us everything already this weekend in terms of the action and the excitement, and we've had pretty much all of the seasons too. The sun will come out, the track temperature will go up very quickly as this battle continues to keep our attention. And come up to Bart Collins in the very distinctive dark red number 22. Again, he's got his eyes on the mirrors. Well done, Bart. Race control will be pleased to see that. Nobody has a problem if you're a bit off the pace, so long as you're not holding people up. Sorry, that wasn't Bart Collins.
That was Michael Manella, it was his teammate. They've had those who've had a super battle, and they've been super respectful of everybody else out on the racetrack. Tell you what, that lap 20 for our race leader, Roman De Angelis, who had to get past the lap, he'd had to lap Scott Wellham on that. Scott had a pit stop earlier on. From the restart on lap 8 all the way through to lap 19, every lap that Roman De Angelis did was faster than the lap record that was set yesterday by Max Schroot. That is remarkably impressive.
Not the old lap record, the one that was set yesterday.
Indeed,
not the year-old lap record.
And
that kind of consistency, pace, electrifying pace is one thing over one lap, Jeremy. What we always talk about in endurance racing, and this is what these young drivers are looking at. 45 minutes is about an endurance stint, isn't it? And our colleague at Le Mans and the Nürburgring, Paul Truswell, talks about stint averages. And that's what the pit wall will be looking at here from the other championships. And they will see in Roman De Angelis and indeed in Maxwell Roux, 2 young drivers who are very worthy indeed of moving up through the ranks. And that is exactly the job of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. Clear track ahead now. Is there enough in his Yokohama tyres to go better than the Yokohama fastest lap of 150.906 in platinum? 153.188 is a new fastest lap, a new Yokohama best lap time for Sebastian Carrazzo in the NGT Motorsport, the gold class, and I think that beats his lap time from yesterday. 53.8. So that is a new lap record, 153.188 for Carrazzo. A new Yokohama best lap time then for the 27 car. And again, what you've got to say about that young man, Jeremy, is he hasn't necessarily had a lot of competition from the gold class. He's mixed it up with the platinum guys. I notice Alan Metney is back ahead of him now after throwing the car at the scenery. but he's still pushing. And that, to me, is the sign of a very measured young driver. He's been able to improve that lap time. And in fact, he's just improved it again last time around. So another Yokohama best lap time, 1:53.027 in the Gold Cup category. There's some young drivers here, Jeremy, we're going to have to keep an eye on as their careers progress, and none more so than Roman De Angelis burst onto the scene in this championship. Well, a couple of seasons ago now in the gold category. He's used it as a springboard, and this is a young man that's going places. At the end of this lap, he'll be going on to his final one. The Racing for Children, Kelly Moss Road and Race Porsche comes through and onto the front straight, where he will be greeted by a waved white flag signifying just 3.4 miles now of the circuit still to run, and the second race at Watkins Glen then under control, as was the first after, well, the first half lap on Friday. Root has dropped back to 5.5 seconds. You can't really fault what Maxwell Root has done. He's pushed that car.
Wow. Riley Dickinson has just turned the fastest lap of the race at 1:50.830.
New lap record
for the fifth place car. He's been nice and he's been conservative today, which is really what he needed after yesterday. Now, with some clear track, and he's got his eyes set on Jeff Kingsley in front of him. I don't think he's going to catch Jeff at this stage, but now he's back into the groove. He's got his confidence back, and a brilliant lap. I was just going to say, the race leader turned another 51.1, which again is significantly quicker than the old lap record set yesterday, but an even better lap from Riley Dickinson, the youngster from Texas.
So that's a new Yokohama fast lap mark. 1:50.830 for the More Speed 53 car. But that will be the only blot on the landscape then, that in both of his victories, as it stands, on Friday and today, Roman De Angelis has not taken the Yokohama fastest lap. But frankly, those are minor blemishes on what has been an almost perfect weekend. 2 pole positions, 2 wins, under very different conditions, the start of the races, although race 2 ends in glorious sunshine, and no one will have a bigger smile on their face this weekend than Roman De Angelis. 7 out of 8 races won this season, and there's the checkered flag and top points again. Another maximum point score for the young man who is dominating this year, and he extends his championship lead. Sebastian Carrazzo has done exactly the same in the gold category. In fact, you could say he's gone 2 better, because he's got the 2 Yokohama fastest laps in the gold category on Friday and today, and a 1:53.027 is a new fastest lap for Sebastian Carrazzo, and a new lap record for the Gold Cup category as he comes round to take the checkered flag at the end of the 45 minutes.
Yeah, Jeff Moseley there celebrating his second Masters class win of the weekend. Sebastian Carrazzo comes out of the final corner.
And across the line to seal that victory. 2 poles, 2 wins, 2 fastest lap for Carrazzo.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, where round 8 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA, presented by Yokohama, has just completed. Time now to hear from the race winners.
Awesome car again by Kelly Moss. It's flawless. A bit difficult today with the conditions. We opted for a safer setup, which in the end was a bit sketchy to drive, but you kind of just go into every race weekend kind of in safety mode, always in a long championship like this, just trying to get points. I mean, you're always trying to win, but obviously keeping it a bit safe is how you win championships, not like we did last year.
It was a great weekend. I'm really grateful for all my sponsors, all my fans, my parents to make this happen. I'm really grateful for the team as well. They gave me a great car from the start of the weekend. And we've been, since the start of the weekend, just fighting ahead. It's all thanks to everybody that's been behind me.
win again for Roman De Angelis ahead of Maxwell Root and Victor Gomez on the podium, this time around for NGT Motorsports. Sebastian Carrazzo takes it in gold ahead of Evan Castro for ACI Motorsports, and his teammate Kurt Swearingen getting third position in gold right at the end. Jeff Mosing takes the Masters category in what has been a cracking weekend. Well, could it be anything else? Action, excitement, and some great racing too at Watkins Glen International.
The next race on TV for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA, presented by Yokohama, comes in August during the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship weekend at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.